I've generated over 9 million as a low-ticket online educator, coach, and membership creator. And in this video, I will show you 3 Claude features that I wish I understood and consistently used sooner because they 10x my productivity. You might have heard of them, but I bet you're not using them in the way that I show you in this video. So let's jump right in. The 3 features that I want to talk about are Claude Artifacts, Claude Skills, and Claude Document Generation. Now, what are Claude Artifacts? Claude Artifacts are small programs you can create within Claude, reuse, customize, and share. What are Claude Skills? Claude Skills are settings inside the capabilities where you can train Claude on doing things a certain way so that you can always do them in a certain way when you call for the skill across chats. What is Claude Document Generation? Claude Document Generation is where you use Claude to basically output well-structured Google Sheets and documents based on your inputs, knowledge, training. So for example, I have not designed this. I let Claude design this tool in here based on the branding skills that I gave it, as well as the raw content that I gave it. And here you can see what the doc looks like. In my opinion, there's now very, very little need to even design your workbooks and course materials in Canva when you can do things like this with Claude so efficiently. So this is a bird's eye overview of the features. Now I want to walk you through, give you some more examples, and then a specific case study going through those A to Z so you know how powerful they are and when to use what. Okay, let's start with Claude Artifacts. You find it here, and then you can land on inspiration. And this is where you see all of the artifacts that Anthropic gives you that you can play around with. So for example, here we have Claude flashcards. You can click on them, and this is how you basically make any artifact your own. You just click on customize, and then from here, you can let it know what you want it to do. So make it in my teal color and neon green buttons. This should be for coaches and online educators who want to know the foundations of AI so they are literate and competitive in 2026 and beyond. And it will go in and it will customize the little program for you. Here it is. Another example of this is when you make your own Claude tools. So you can see it already customized this for me before, and this is what it ultimately will look like. So you can play around with what Claude gives you, or of course you can also go ahead and make your own artifacts. Now, when should you make an artifact? I'm going to tell you some of the use cases that I have. I use artifacts to gamify my day-to-day working environment and experience and get things done faster. I do the same for my clients. I create resources for my students and more exciting experiences. I will take workflows that I have to do on an ongoing basis, and I will also turn them into an artifact if it takes off cognitive load. So, for example, right, I said I'm using it to gamify my day-to-day experience. Here's an example of a productivity generator where I basically have my daily to-dos and I can just check them off one at a time, right? So I can open up this artifact, publish it, copy the link, and now here you can see for myself, what do I have to do right now? Today, I have to create my ads. I can start the task, keep this open, and then basically have its help with a prompt, or just do it from scratch and then I can check it off. I also love to do focus mode where I just focus on one task at a time. So it really helps me to get those things done faster. And the way that I set these up is I will take my daily self-management worksheet, which I always start there, right? So I wake up in the morning and feel anxious and overwhelmed. I pull it out and I will brain dump all of my to-dos for the day. Then I will say, how long do I think it will take me? Then I prioritize using the Eisenhower matrix, and then I execute. But I don't necessarily just execute from here. I will actually think this through and read it out and record myself with this screen recording tool called Loom. And then I will go into the tasks and I will report to Claude what we have to do on a day-to-day basis. And I just recorded a short example of this, right? And maybe let me actually go in and do this for you live right now, so you get an idea how I talk to Claude. Start recording. Hi Claude, please make me a new artifact. It should be a productivity dashboard, gamified, and get me through my to-do list in a fun way today. What we need to do today is get new Grow with Evelyn ads up. So we need to take an inventory of all our past generators that we did and re-customize them so we can create new ads. I also need to finally record my Claude Code tutorial. Please surface, based on our past conversations, examples of projects that we could use to demonstrate how Claude Code works. Now I also need to prepare my carousel for the week. Please help me find the latest link for the artifact, and then also give me an idea for what we could do based on the past conversations that we had. I need to launch the mindfulness funnel. If you have any prompts or guides where you can help me with that, I basically just need to hook up the ClickFunnels and integrate the tracking, and then I need to set up an ad campaign for it. I need to record the letter G for my daily money moves, and then I also need to create a one-to-one tracker for my clients in my Grow with Evelyn design. There's a little bit more, but I just want you to do how I prompted. And now I have this transcript, right? So I will try to refer to past chats, past work that we did, so that I don't have to necessarily start from scratch. And its memory is not perfect, but it will remind me to do this, and it will create a dashboard for me. So now I just paste this in here. Good enough. It has enough data. Now it looks through past chats, and it starts to work on this dashboard for me. Now, how do I do this for the clients? I basically ask for permission if I can process the recording of our session if they want to be recorded. And from that, I will have a dashboard for them where they basically have their action items with context from our session and a prompt to help them get started, also based on exactly what we discussed in the session. And then they can check off their to-dos, and if they get stuck somewhere, they can let me know exactly where. And if they do this work, they can then review it first themselves and then have me review it as well. And then they have an overview of their overall journey and a little resource hub in here. And my clients really, really love this. They think it's a great focus tool for them. And it's also just a very nice experience to help you stand out if you are a service provider. Now, another example here for when I use it with my students in general. So what I recommend for people who don't have a personal brand yet is to position their membership community around something that has an unofficial brand. Obviously honoring trademarks and everything, but giving them ideas as into what are concepts where people have partial familiarity with that they can use as a starting point. I basically created this dashboard for them, and it's a little bit easier to use and more fun and enjoyable than just a checklist. And what I also was able to do here is to basically connect it with my other training materials and say, if they, for example, say, carnivore diet sounds like something I could explore, it will match it with my community value models and give them different ideas for how to play this out, right? So what is this niche? Here are the community ideas: 90-day carnivore challenge, carnivore collective, meat mastery workshop, carnivore success stories lab, carnivore coaches circle, right? So basically they can go deeper based on what they like or not. So use it also to improve the experience in your offerings for your clients, either one-to-one or one-to-many. And I also mentioned workflows, right? So I very often will have to create new ads for my own Skool community and for my clients, for example, for Skool. And I do not create them from scratch. I actually generate them using Gemini Nano Banana or ChatGPT. And I just make these little dashboards for myself where I can easily copy and paste these prompts. And then you can see what this looks like. And I can also remix them into new prompts as well. So here, for example, I can copy it and then can go to Gemini or ChatGPT and generate those images. And now here you can see this is the ad that it generated. So this is Artifacts. Now let's see if it already generated our new artifact based on the transcript that we gave it. Yes, it's just about to finishing it. Now we have Evelyn's Power Day. Oh, I like that. That's cute. And now you can see here, I have this beautiful generator. I can check things off, and I can also open this up, and it will guide me into the different ad creators that we had made before. Like for example, this. Now I can open the link and it guides me back to that chat that we had. And then again, I can just from there easily create the next ads that I need to make. And then here you see record the YouTube tutorial, Claude project notes, Notes Octopus, okay, add creative assistant, Daniel's secret code maker. Oh, this is fun. This was something I did for my son. SaaS building discussion. So I think fun personal project to show non-technical use case. Probably for my clients, the session notes would be best. I can open up the chat, right? And then I can also start from here and just copy the prompt, my differentiator, video structure, and now it helps me to come up with an example for my Claude Code tutorial. And once I'm done again, I can just check it off. Prepare the carousels for the week. Boom, here it guides me to my carousel maker. And that's actually the example we're going to play through next. Now we can actually go ahead and I can show you a full workflow that leads all the way back to the skills as well. So this is artifacts, right? But now what about skills? Skills is basically, you also can program it, but you can teach it different things. So for example, skills that I have taught it is, my YouTube editor, Ben, he has this whole collection of viral YouTube titles, which is so helpful. So when I asked it to give me a YouTube title, it would give me a title that would somewhat sound viral, but I knew it's not on point based on what I learned from Ben. So basically I trained it now on, this is what a viral title formula looks like. When I ask you for that, please go through all of these templates first and select the ones that make the most sense, right? I also, for example, taught it what branding I have, right? So for example, I want to say now, rebrand all of those in the growers branding. And now what it will do is, instead of me having to brief it on the fonts and the colors and what that means, I just have to reference it. And then you can see rebranding with growers brand guidelines, getting the brand details, because it's getting into the skills of that. Right? And then the last one is the document creation, which is basically that. So let's now play it through completely from one example. So, we have to do the carousels. Now I have the carousel maker, which is an artifact, right? So there's a process I have to repeatedly do in my business. So I have an artifact for that instead of always starting from scratch. And it's basically trained on my methodology. How do I want carousels to be? And then also, how do I like to create and edit them? So here you can see basically programmed, quote unquote, this little tool. And how it works is I just paste a transcript, and I'm going to use one from our hot seat calls, again, where I have the permission to use it. Put the transcript, paste it in here. Now it will find carousel ideas within that. How I turn one workshop into multiple profitable offers, for example. Choose the format. I think this should be a listicle format. Now it's generating the carousel, and I made it select these, right? Because these are the carousel formats I enjoy and want to create. Now, what's really important for me, for example, is that when it creates carousel content, it actually is based on what I said, similar to how Notebook LM would do it. So it honors the authentic content. So the way that I trained this or set this up to do is that it always pulls the slide from my actual content, and then it shows me the carouselified version. So I can really see, is this grounded in what I said? How do I want to edit the carouselified version? So you see authentic version, carouselified version, and then I can edit this the way I set it up. And this is also what I recommend, is like when you know how you want to see it, because it makes your work easier to see it like that, then you need to set it up like this. So now I can always see like, what is the actual thing that I said? What is the carouselified version? 5 steps to turn one workshop into multiple profit streams. Stop building 12 months curriculum nobody asked for. Good, just replace the double dots with an arrow. And of course I can also write like directly in here, right? And then I can go through every single slide one at a time. And when I'm done with it, if I like it, I can then either take the image prompts, right? And again, generate the slides, which is what some of my clients prefer, or which is what I prefer. I like to download the carouselified version into a CSV and then go just into my Canva template and then basically upload it as a bulk create, upload data, and then I connect the data, I map the headline to the headline and the text to the text, continue, create 7 designs, view project. And then all I have to do is basically just go through and make like minor adjustments to the formatting if it's needed, right? And typically what I will also do is I would just swap out the image of myself to always have like an up-to-date one, for example. Now I can use this one, right? Once I'm done with all of the carousels and I'm happy with it, I will download it as a PDF, because I taught Claude another skill, as into what should happen every time I upload a carousel in a PDF. So I don't even need to say anything. I just pull it in here. Now it's thinking and it's like user prompt is empty. I cannot provide a summary. Reading carousel content system skill. So it realizes, oh, when the user does that, I need to actually refer to one of my skills. And now basically what I taught it in this skill is whenever I upload a PDF of my carousels, I want it to proofread it. Then I want it to suggest a giveaway because there's a ManyChat integration on Instagram, right? So it's like after they read this post, it's like telling them, hey, comment this word to get the giveaway. And now you'll also see how we're gonna again use skills to design it and the document creation. So here's the proofread, free giveaway ideas, workshop validation checklist, workshop to membership stacking planner, ad budget calculator. I really love the workshop validation checklist. And now I want to say in the free school branding, right? So now it will actually go back to the third feature that I talked about, which is the document creation. And it will just create the full document designed for me. So it's basically ready to give away for me. And we're going to teach it a new skill now. So you also see how teaching skills work. Now you can see it made this whole gorgeous checklist for me. I can just open it in a doc. One thing that you need to be mindful of, sometimes it messes up the table headers, but not in this case. It just looks amazing. And of course, I still have to proofread it, right? And make like adjustment if it's necessary, but this is perfect, right? So now it has made the validation checklist. Now it gives me the captions. So building a 12-month curriculum nobody asked for. Here's what I do instead. This is basically perfect, right? So I'm going to use this. And then I can already make the carousel post. Now let's teach it a new skill, right? So now I want to use the insights from the carousel post and the free checklist for a post in my free school community. I want you to write the headline, post text, and call to action to comment checklist because I want to start a comment ladder and let them know if they want it, they should comment, and I'll send it. Okay, so now it does that. And the first time around, we always want to see how it does. Stop building content nobody asked for. Most people plan 12 months of workshop before testing a single one. Then they wonder, this needs to be school focused and that they can build their school content one workshop and mini solution at a time. When I make a post for my free school, it always needs to be refocused on that context. So you can see I feedback it. I basically teach it what I want. Stop overbuilding your school classroom. Most school owners try to fill a classroom with 12 months of courses before anyone joins. They wonder why nobody upgrades. Do this instead. Build one mini workshop. First workshop flopped with ads. My second one worked, which is true. Now my school classroom only has content people actually want to buy. Don't make assumptions or statements about me. Stay with facts, always. So I need to teach it that it cannot make stuff up. Yes, now generate an image prompt for a square image that goes with this in my free school branding. Good, let's check it, right? If we like the work, so we always check if we like the work. The words start with a school workshop need to be on there. We always need to have relevant words on there. Okay, so because this is okay. It's also in the branding, but it doesn't really like help with anything. Okay, let's try this again to see if it understood what we want. And let's maybe add a bulb or a spark or some relevant icon. Also more copper tones, not too light, copper and brown. Actually make the gradient, not fabric. Beautiful. Now I have it how I want it. Now I have everything I need. Go through what we just did after we finished the carousel skill and introduced a new workflow for the school post. Identify all deliverables I need from you in the exact quality and let me confirm. So trigger after completing carousel content or when user wants to create a post for their free school community. Yes. Context rules. Always refocus content on school. Yes. Frame as building school content one workshop mini offer at a time. The context rules need to be applicable for any topic. Do not focus on workshops only just because we did this in this example. Go through everything you wrote and make sure you capture only universally true principles. Got it. Revised workflow. Frame is there as growing their school one piece, one content solution at a time. This is still based on the given example, right? So we need the skill to be clean. Always refocus content on school and building a school community. Stay factual. No assumptions or personal statements about the user. Remove any first-person claims about user experience unless yes. Headline short attention grabbing. School context factual value driven. Content letter keyword. Square image prompt, free school branding, this is their workflow, draft headline, get approval, refine on feedback, generate image prompt with text and icon, refine colors element as needed. Yes, now please create this as a Claude skill, make the file and let me add it to the skills with the click of a button, research how you need to write this to perfectly work as a skill, as a Claude skill. Right, so now I just want it to refine it more. So now you see copy to skills. You can download it here and upload it manually. Or you can also say copy to skills, and now you need to be able to see it in your skills community post. Perfect. So now to drive home the last point, what are 3 more types of Google Sheets you can create based on our conversation right now that would help me and or my audience? Because you can not only create the Google Docs, you can also create the Google Sheets and even Google Slides. Workshop validation tracker, tiered pricing calculator, content repurposing tracker. Let's make a tiered pricing calculator. In the free school branding, first research in our past conversations about school tiers, and then research online to fill gaps, but don't contradict or override my teachings. So now we can send it to research the past chats as well as outside. Now it complements with web search. Now you can see it has the pricing calculator. And now again, I can say, please make a Google Slides presentation on school tiers in accordance to my trainings, and also include how to use this calculator as the center of the presentation, the core, and make it in my free school branding. And now while it does that, I will just open this one up. Here we can see its work, has the pricing calculator with the transaction fee, etc. So with the daily ad spend, now let's say premium is 77. Then it has the net revenue break-even analysis, daily sales to break even, monthly sales to break even, workshop price, etc. So it's really cool if the workshop price is $21. Daily budget. So this is probably, I would have done this a little bit differently, but I just wanted to show you, and I would give it more context then as well. But it's just to show you that it can do these things well designed with formulas as well. Okay, now you can see here also the complete school tiers presentation that it made based on all of the content. And it created this here in a Google slide. As you can see, like this is really, really powerful. So those are the features, and of course you might have to make some adjustments, right, based on the sizing or based on the size. But I mean, this is so incredible how much work you can save with these features. I hope that you found this inspiring and that you will give some of those features a try. And then I see you in another one. Bye for now.